1, 2.
Pretty loud. Right, just to give you a quick brief of what's going on here. Kieran's arranged for some musicians to come down and play a little tribute for Julian, and as you can see, a few of his supporters have turned out today. Must let you know, on the 19th, which is next week, there's going to be a massive rally here again in the evening. But this time hopefully we're going to have some speakers brought in and some guest speakers and a little bit of music as well. Try and raise in the awareness a little bit. So I'm going to leave this live stream running from now, and you can watch things unfold as they unfold.
But then that's, yeah, that would be.
Oh, and please share this on Twitter and Facebook.
Hello, Knightsbridge. Just a couple of instructions. Try and keep the footpath so people can walk through it. If you're going to stand on the road, look for vehicles coming that way, okay? And it should be good. It's great to welcome David Garcia. We've sustained this vigil for 6 years. Julian, as you know, has been cut off from the internet and the phone and visitors, so this is an attempt to bring him some joy. David accompanied us through the solidarity work with Chelsea Manning, playing outside the US Embassy here in London. So David Roberts.
Thank you. It's a good sidewalk to have a concert on, I think. You're a strange single line of an audience, though, aren't you? Come pretend to be an audience. It'll be fun, really. There's no point in standing in a row. There's no traffic. There's no cars who are going to see you. Just let's have a concert. Here's a song about something that happened in Brisbane a few years ago, which I watched it on the TV, machine guns fired towards the ground. Watch the people run. Helicopter gunship strafing the street. Watch them lining up the bodies in the Baghdad heat. They say these leaks had consequences, and I must agree. When I saw them fire on the children, it affected me. I thought, what if I were wearing the other shoe? If I had a hammer, what would I do? I am just a person, like anyone. I am just another mother's son. I have no special powers. I cannot fly, not like that helicopter gunship up in the sky, sending all those bullets all around to the journalists and children on the ground. I am just one man, that's very true. But if I had a hammer, what would I do? Sometimes I try to wonder, why should I care? But the answer seems so obvious. There are people down there. And right here in Queensland, there's an army base. And there's a helicopter gunship just sitting in place. There's a time for watching. There's a time to act. It's just gonna kill more children if it remains intact. I am just one person, but you are too. If you had a hammer, what would you do? If you had a hammer, what would you do? Thank you. Okay, well, class, your assignment, I'm thinking about billing myself as the professor from here on in. Your assignment is to tell me, if you don't know, why all of the songs I'm singing today are related to WikiLeaks. I'm not going to explain. But all these songs are related to WikiLeaks. Huh? Iceland is an island with 500,000 or so Vikings, mostly known for volcanoes, hot springs, and fishing. Known its welfare state for being good and socialistic. Certainly not known for being corrupt or nepotistic. But in the USA and Europe, when they were deregulating banks, Iceland's politicians took bribes and joined their ranks. Soon you had a situation one would think just couldn't be. A bank whose debt was worth 10 times the country's GDP. When Wall Street imploded, sure enough it spread. Banks all over the world were floating in the red. All over the world, governments made the plan to cut spending and raise taxes on the working woman and working man. The banks were bailed out while the people had to pay. But in Iceland people thought there must be a better way. And the earth stood still a moment. Fear was struck in every cough when Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. You got the chorus? That's the chorus. You can sing with me, it's therapeutic. And all the Harrods customers really need to hear this. Folks were in the streets in Reykjavik and just couldn't be ignored. They said, this is a debt we Icelanders can't afford. Let's guarantee deposits of all our people, yes indeed. But as for all the speculators motivated by their greed to make really dumb investments, to them Iceland said good luck. Sorry for your losses, but we don't really give a fuck. The 1% all trembled when they took away the trough. And Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. It's really okay to swear, I promise. The UK called them terrorists, and we cannot let this stand. Who do these peacenik blondes think they are in Iceland? They threatened isolation and economy in flames. But the Icelanders said sorry, but the banks can settle their own claims. That might be harder for them now that they're under house arrest. Or else they fled the country as they were most unwelcome guests. And now Reykjavik's recovery just makes the fat cats cough, since Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. You don't need to sing, you just shout. If you haven't heard of this example, perhaps there's a reason why the owners of the world don't want this kind of shit to fly. They say we all must pay up in this shakedown by the mob if we can't afford to pay the rent because we don't have a job. They say it's not their problem if we're forever shackled by their debt. We must save the 1% from the fate they should have met. But there is an alternative, though it makes the fat cat scoff. Since Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. Since Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers, Iceland told the bankers to fuck off. Lovely operatic. So this is this is more directly related to WikiLeaks in terms of the central mission of the organization. They haven't even started cleaning up the mess. How many souls departed is anybody's guess. They're already proposing that they turn it up a notch. Time they were imposing an ever tighter watch. Terrorists everywhere, by which they do not mean Norwegians with blonde hair, American Marines, all the fighter planes, all of those who die when the bombs rain down from way up in the sky. If you bomb somebody, they might just bomb you back. The pundits on the TV will talk of integration. Most of them agree there's too much immigration. They'll talk of social policies, things they should have done before. Whatever you say, don't mention the war if you bomb somebody. They might just bomb you back. They'll cry more cops and laws against encryption. Time to pull out all the stops of every description. Time to torture suspects, send them back from where they came. Life goes as you'd expect in the imperial game. They'll say that now. We must strengthen our will. We must bow down to those we kill, to those we maim, to the countries lost. Don't mention their names or the cost. If you bomb somebody, they might just bomb you back. If you bomb somebody, they might just bomb you back. Okay, but we have to have some more surreal comic and oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. But we have to have some levity in between these songs. This is the formula, and so an anarchist and a communist were in a car together. Who was driving? Come on, anybody in Harrods can get this joke. The cops. Now they wouldn't even know. They wouldn't get the joke in Harrods. They were right on cue. I don't drive a car because they run on gas, but if I did, it'd run on biomass. I ride a bike, or sometimes a skateboard, so piss off all you drivers and your yuppie hordes, sitting all day in the traffic queues. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't eat meat, I just live on moldy chives or the donuts that I found in last week's dumpster dives. Look at you people in that restaurant, I think you are so sad when you could have been eating bagels like the ones that I just had. I think it is a shame all the bourgeois things you do. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't wear leather and I like my clothes in black, and I made a really cool hammock from a moldy coffee sack. I like to hop on freight trains, I think that is so cool. It's so much funner doing this than being stuck in school. I can't believe you're wearing those brand new shiny shoes. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't have sex and there will be no sequel because heterosexual relationships are inherently unequal. I'll just keep on moshing to anti-flag and crass until there are no differences in gender, race, or class. All you brainwashed breeders, you just haven't got a clue. I'm a better anarchist than you. I don't believe in leaders, I think consensus is the key. I don't believe in stupid notions like representative democracy. Whether or not it works, I know it is the case that only direct action can save the human race. You're voting booth, and I know it's true. I'm a better anarchist than you. I am not a pacifist, I like throwing bricks, and when the cops have caught me and I've taken a few licks, I always feel lucky if I get a bloody nose, because I feel so militant and everybody knows. By the time the riot is all through, I'm a better anarchist than you. I'm a better anarchist than you. Well, there's a neighborhood not very far from here where a lot of people died just a year ago. And remember your assignment. This is also intimately related to WikiLeaks. But if I were trying to introduce it and explain why it's related to WikiLeaks, I'd be doing a lot of talking and a lot less singing, and I'm not a singer, so I'm just going to skip the lecture segment of the program and get on with the music. But the struggle against austerity in Britain and elsewhere in the world is intimately related to what's the word? See, they use this word so much on WikiLeaks, I forgot what it is. Transparency. That transparent information transparency. Because the whole way that austerity works, the whole way that rule by the rich works, is they don't tell us what they're doing, and they tell us actually the opposite of what they're actually doing, and that's how they get away with this stuff. And if we don't have organizations like WikiLeaks exposing what they're actually doing, nobody will know what they're actually doing, and then we'll be even more screwed. And that's my sort of not very academic explanation. You're not supposed to use screwed in an academic explanation. That's not an academic word. That's why I'm not a professor. At 1 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, no one knew what was in store. A fire started, quickly spread, till it covered every floor. Stairwell blocked, no way out, smoke and fire all around. Parents grabbed their little babies, dropped them 10 floors to the ground. People cried to no avail. 24 stories tall, engulfed in flames. The fire ladders were just like toys, no use at all. There were no sprinklers, few smoke alarms, fire extinguisher out of date. All repairs, if ever done, always too little, too late. When they built Grenfell, they believed housing was a human right. But all that changed. Now if you're not rich, you should be kept out of sight, out of sight, out of town, or wrapped up neatly, plastic clad. The flags may all be falling apart, but at least they don't look too bad. The residents had tried to warn the authorities for years and years, but all their letters, all their blogs, all their calls fell on deaf ears. Council housing, taking space, left to rot, or by and by, it would someday be turned to dust in the forward march to gentrify. And in the meantime, if people perish with their children in their laps, it's the price the market has to pay to house the poor in fire traps. If this were murder, If this were murder, if this were murder, if this were murder. I do a song about a guy who's actually got a lot in common with Julian Assange in terms of the how he was treated by the state in the United States, because they basically charged him on circumstantial evidence and then gave him the death penalty for a crime that normally would not carry the death penalty, even if there were more than circumstantial evidence to bust him on. And the thing was that they really didn't care that this shopkeeper in Salt Lake City had been shot in one evening in 1914 or whatever it was. They just cared that there was a prominent labor organizer in town who could be blamed for this, and he was in prison, and then he was executed. That's what happened to him. The old Hagelin came from Sweden, which was very far from Eden. By the time he left, most of his family died. His sisters and his mother, his father and his brothers, so with one remaining sibling at his side, he got a notion to sail across the ocean, where he heard the streets were paved with gold. Not long after his arrival, as he toiled for survival, he realized the bill of goods that he'd been sold. He got a whole lot wiser, became an organizer, and he organized with artistry and skill. He spoke up, raised his fist, got right on the blacklist. That's why he changed his name to Joe Hill. He heard that it was best if he headed to the West, where the industrial workers of the world were finding the solution for making revolution, with red songbook and red flag unfurled. 100 years ago, the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organized the working class in song. Soon as he paid his dues, he tried hard to light the fuse, speaking, singing, writing lyrics and cartoons. He sent off the whole mess to the wobbly press, and they sang his songs as they fought the goons. He joined a singing movement that fought for improvement by abolishing wage slavery worldwide. He sang the wobbly line, beseeching workers to combine, learn from Mr. Block, the boss's line. 100 years ago, the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organized the working class in song. His life would be cut short by a kangaroo court, eager to determine one man's fate. Evidence was circumstantial, but that's inconsequential when you become an enemy of the state. They put him up against the wall, that was all. They gunned him down in 1915. He took all the bullets he could take there by the Salt Lake for being the best bard they'd ever seen. 100 years ago, the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organized the working class in song. 100 years ago, the bard with the Union card proved his music was too powerful, too strong. They couldn't stand the sound, they had to take him down, lest he organized the working class in song. Lest he organized the working class in song. I was just in Belgium a couple weeks ago, and there was a horrible event in Belgium that happened while I was there. I've noticed it's barely made the news outside of Belgium. Yeah, it's too much, too often, too many Murdochs. Their country was invaded and destroyed. Then they had a baby boy. They sold everything they owned so they might escape the war zone. They took the Baltic route, north and west. It was the one the smuggler said was best. They got as far as Germany, which is where they had another baby. It's a deadly thing, what some call immigration. England was their final destination. In a crowded van, driving to the port, on past Flanders fields, another life cut short. Cops on every side, the vehicle surrounded. When the loud crack sounded, Mama held her daughter tight in place. Then she saw the bullet hit her face. And Mauda was her name. Mauda was her name. There are many ways to stop a van, many ways to do it. They can make a roadblock for one. If you're under fire, you can use your gun, but all the bullets flew in one direction. At first they denied it, but at closer inspection, the cop was aiming for the driver's head. But he missed and hit the girl instead. And Mauda was her name. Mauda was her name. And if the driver had been hit, how many more numbers would be added to the score of those who only wanted to raise a family, but then died on the shores of Turkey, or somewhere in the desert, or tortured in a prison, or on the bottom of the ocean, at a Baghdad checkpoint, or at a traffic stop, or shot down by a Belgian cop. Mauda was her name. Mauda was her name. Thank you. So, what U.S. administration jailed more whistleblowers than any other in history? Obama. Thank you. This is a song about the former occupant of the White House, who is the guy who delivered us the current occupant of the White House. The Democratic Party, their job is to give us Republicans, which is the job of the Labour Party here. It's to deliver the Tories to you because, you know, when you can't tell the difference, that's what happens. But, and if Le Pen comes to power in France, we can thank Macron for that. He's preparing to deliver us Le Pen. But it's capitalism that gives us fascism, because the best argument for capitalism or against capitalism is socialism. The best, you know, and this is why, you know, capitalism always, you know, gives rise to this conflict. You know, so, and then they stop regulating things, and then it gets more out of hand, and then the right and the left get bigger, and then the right usually, you know, gets even bigger from the left, and then you end up with Trump.
But yeah, of course we
But this is about Obama. I was watching the Republican debates one day in 2012. This is a sing-along, by the way. It's good for you to sing. I know you're English, many of you, and you haven't had any beer yet, so it's hard to sing, but it's okay. You can do it. It's still good for you. I turned on my TV. The wit was hard to see. These men who would be head of state What a great country from sea to shining sea. We watched the Republicans. Newt stood with his third wife and said, "You bet your life the president is red. He wants to tax the rich a lot, take your limo and your yacht. He wants to have the bankers' heads. And if he gets in again, he'll paint the White House pink, and then he'll hire Chavez as his VP. Then we'll be right on track to give capitalism the sack, along with the insurance industry. If only it were true, if only it were true, I'd be so happy, wouldn't you? If only it were true, if only it were true, if only it were true. He'll give everyone food stamps and wheelchair ramps. He'll subsidize windmills and maple syrup. He'll cripple industries with eco-friendly policies, and pretty soon we will be just like Europe. He'll shut down oil wells, give out solar cells to every home in Delaware and Illinois. He'll ban logging in the parks, he'll send the works of Karl Marx to the homes of every American girl and boy. He'll abolish pesticides, he'll be giving out free rides and free lunches too in his high-speed trains. He'll start lots of public works full of union perks. He'll fill all the cities up with bicycle lanes. If only it were true, if only it were true, I'd be so happy, wouldn't you? If only it were true, if only it were true, if only it were true. Watch out, his critics tell. This shall be our death knell. He'll pull the troops out and end all of our wars. He'll gut military spending. Our empire will be ending, and soon we'll be invaded by the Moors. He'll legalize all drugs, give away beer mugs and hookahs to every child, and Korans. He'll ban religions from the schools, give 40 acres and a mule to every person who makes less than 50 grand. He'll close Guantanamo to torture, he'll say no. He'll make us all drive electric cars. He'll reinstate the fairness doctrine, take off the damn flag pin, and he'll put Rupert Murdoch behind bars. If only it were true, if only it were true, I'd be so happy, wouldn't you? If only it were true, if only it were true, if only it were true. If only it were true, if only it were true, I'd be so happy, wouldn't you? If only it were true, if only it were true, if only it were true.
Syria released a cable, WikiLeaks released cables about Syria, so if you can find Syria,
I breathe the air that you do. I drink the water just like you. I eat the fruits of this land. I hold the apple in my hand. I am I feel the rain fall on my face, like the rest of the human race. I hold my baby tightly when he cries. I see him when I look into his eyes. I am when I walk for miles in the summer heat. Like you, I get blisters on my feet. When I cut myself with blood, I will perspire. When I try to climb over the wire, I am Yeah, I got it. That's, I was trying to think of something related to that because I don't remember that song.
Next time. Unfortunately, there might be next time. Maybe it won't be.
Yeah, sadly there might be. Well, this is, I'll do a children's song, but it's actually one that seems somehow particularly appropriate. In fact, as the G7 is happening right now, the children's song seems even more appropriate than usual. I went to play at the playground to do things I like so much. Run with my friends, play make-believe, swing on the swings and such. But this morning I went to the playground and bullies were guarding the swings. They knocked over the slide, dumped out the sandbox, took away all of our things. This playground is run by bullies and they're all so big and mean. But this playground was made for all of us and we're gonna change this scene. All of us were scared of the bullies. They were so big and we were so small. Till somebody said if we organized, we could be 10 feet tall. We stood on each other's shoulders, put blankets over our heads. We looked like monsters and we roared like lions, and those bullies ran home and hid under their beds. This playground was run by bullies and they're all so big and mean. But this playground was made for all of us and we're gonna change this scene. Well, we got that playground back, but then we looked across the street, saw the sewage plant belching out smoke, poisoning the ground under our feet. It's giving us all asthma and the hour is getting late. So we marched across the way and we blocked that factory gate. 'Cause this world is run by bullies and they're all so big and mean. But this world was made for all of us and we're gonna change this scene. This world is run by bullies and they're all so big and mean. But this world was made for all of us and we're gonna change this scene. Let's see here. Well, we'll do this. I've ever encountered very few people who have more of a knowledge of historical events than the person in the building behind us. And this is a song about a historical event with which some people will be familiar. And do it in tune though. I'll do a couple more here. It's a song about solidarity. It's a song about international solidarity specifically. My name is John Riley. I'll have your ear only a while. I left my dear home in Ireland. It was death, starvation, or exile. When I got to America, it was my duty to go. Enter the army and slog across Texas to join in the war against Mexico. And it was there, in the pueblos and hillsides, that I saw the mistake I had made. Part of a conqueror conquering army with the morals of a bayonet blade. And there amidst all these poor dying Catholics, screaming children, the burning stench of it all, myself and 200 Irishmen decided to rise to the call. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied, so we formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. We marched beneath the green flag of St. Patrick and blazed with Erin Goldrath, right with the Hartman, the Shamrock, and the Libertad Republica. Just 50 years after Wolfe Tone, 5,000 miles away, the gangs called us a legion of strangers, and they can talk as they may. But from Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied, so we formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. Major battles, Churubusco was the last. Overwhelmed by the cannons from Boston, we fell after each mortar blast. Most of us died on that hillside at the service of the Mexican state. So far from our occupied homeland, we were heroes and victims of fate. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom died, so we formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. From Dublin City to San Diego, we witnessed freedom denied, so we formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. We formed the St. Patrick Battalion and we fought on the Mexican side. Well, I'll do one more song, and thanks for coming to the.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, I think I have to do that. I just discovered that we're right across from the Colombian embassy. So I have to do a song for all the Colombians about the world's favorite soft drink. I did except I haven't sung the song. I can't remember the alphabet. Oh, there it is. I did a tour in the U.S. with a Colombian labor organizer who is now the head of the Sinal Trenal union in Colombia. And he was he always said back when we were touring together in 2002, he said unions in Colombia have a very high rate of advancement through the ranks. If you're a labor organizer, you end up being president of the union not too long because of the high rate of assassination of labor organizers and union leaders in Colombia.
Tweeting the shit out of this and slamming it all over Facebook. I would
And he was telling me about one day when a paramilitary group backed by the Colombian government and trained in the School of the Americas in Georgia by the United States, which of course provides Colombia with billions in aid every year for their military. He was saying that one time the AUC came into the factory floor, killed 2 union organizers, and then camped out in the front yard for 2 weeks just to prove that they actually did run the place and that the government wasn't doing anything about them. So I somehow wrote a humorous song out of that, or think it might be humorous. If you can write a song that's humorous about people dying, which you can. Coke came to Colombia seeking lower wages. They got just what they came for, but as we turn the pages, we find the workers do not like the sound of their children's hungry cries. So they said, we'll join the union. They began to organize. So Coke called up the terrorist group called the AUC. Said, we got some problems at the factory. These thugs went to the plant, killed 2 union men, told the rest, you leave the union or we'll be back again. Now Coke did not complain about this dirty deed. Why give workers higher wages when Coke is all they really need? They phoned the AUC, said thanks, without you we'd go broke. And to show our appreciation, here's 100 cases of Coke. The baby drinks it in his bottle when the water ain't no good. The dog drinks it, but he don't know if he should. Some folks say it's the nectar of the gods. But Coke is the drink of the death squads. That's the chorus. Coke is the drink of the death squads. I need help with this because I can't remember the song. So somebody else can be embarrassed. Oh, good. Well, the workers wouldn't take the situation lying down. Some went up to Georgia, said, look what's happened to our town. You American workers get downsized. As for us, we just get shot. And those of us who live, our teeth begin to rot. 'Cause the baby drinks it in his bottle when the water ain't no good. The dog drinks it, but he don't know if he should. Some folks say it's the nectar of the gods, but Coke is the drink of the death squads. Coke is the drink of the death squads. It's a good corporate slogan, isn't it? I think. Well, now that's the situation. What are you gonna do? 'Cause death squads run Colombia and they're paid by me and you. We can let Coke rule the world, see what future that will bring. Or we can drink water and smash the state. Now that's the real thing. The baby drinks it in his bottle when the water ain't no good. The dog drinks it, but he don't know if he should. Some folks say it's the nectar of the gods, but Coke is the drink of the death squads. Coke is the drink of the death squads. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll do one more, and this is a song I co-wrote with Donald Trump, who some people in the press claim is a good friend of Julian Assange's, and I don't think that's actually true. But
It's either syphilis or gonorrhea. I can't remember which.
one or the other. That's basically our political system in a nutshell.
Well, he seemed to love him in the camp when he was campaigning. He seemed to love him, didn't he? Trump, he loved him to death.
That's what he said.
Yeah, when he was campaigning.
Yeah. To seem to be popular.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's campaign slogan, in case you happen to have been living in a hole in the ground, was "Make America Great Again," and I've just used it and changed it slightly. We could tackle the economy first, get rid of all the billionaires, set the system up so that instead of hoarding, people share, make housing, food, and health care basic human rights. Around the world for everyone is how we'd set our sights. If we could get to that point, I could say that then we could make the planet Earth great again. with human rights around the world, there'd be no refugees, no safeguarding your homeland from terrorists overseas, no need for a border wall, no jobs to protect. With a global basic income, it's simple and direct. Free trade, fair trade, same damn thing. We get to that point, then we can make the planet Earth great again. We could take on other issues like the survival of our race, by which I mean the bipeds on this floating rock in space, the most invasive species anywhere around, the one that keeps on burning everything that can be found, the one that will get it together in the nick of time and then make the planet Earth great again. We can stop spending money on antiquated technology, such as tanks and missiles and other things military. We can use those vast resources to make us all safe and sound. Windmills in the air, coal and oil in the ground. We can be the envy of the rest of the galaxy when we make the planet Earth great again. We make the planet Earth great again. We make the planet Earth great again.
Thank you so much, David. And notice the window's open over there, so we might wander across in case some acoustical could do anything.
Good. Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but we're on the move, which is always nice. So we're going mobile. Bit of acoustics, a cappella. Let me give you an idea of some of the stuff that's going on around here while we're waiting for the surprise. See, hello, darling. There are quite a few people gathered here today. I'm going to take a moment to remind you that next week on the 19th there are going to be the same sort of event but with keynote speakers. I was given a few names. I've got to be honest to say I can't remember them now. It was about 3 hours ago, but they are, you know, all very influential people, all with a lot to say about Julian's current incarceration and his current state of health as well is very important. It's becoming apparent, or after doing a bit of research, you know, in the last couple of days, Julian's health is is deteriorating. His eyesight's going, because as you can imagine, he probably doesn't see any further than 20 to 30 feet in any one given time frame. He doesn't get a long distance view of anything, so this is affecting his eyesight. I know he's got teeth problems and a few other mental health issues that need addressing, and of course he you know, a dentist can't go in to sort out his teeth, and as the Kangaroo Court magistrates judge, you know, made quite clear that he can come out if he wants to, which is utter crap because he can't. The one thing that's holding him in there at the moment is the failing to surrender at the breach of bail, which is a British issue, which has been reinforced by the Kangaroo Court. I mean, anyone that thinks that judges are just picked out of a pool to sit on a case, that isn't the case. They cherry pick their judges, and that's exactly what they did in Julian's case. They picked a judge that was not empathic towards the case, and you know, he didn't really stand a chance. British justice, the two words are an oxymoron at the moment, but as you can see, there are a good few people here, considering the amount of publication publicising that it had. It's nice to see people, you know, out. And as I say, in a week's time, this event's going to be repeated with speakers, keynote speakers, and maybe we can start, demanding some answers as to just who is responsible for the continued incarceration of Julian Assange, and how are they getting away with this under human rights acts. I mean, I've said it a million times, I shouldn't need to keep saying it, but even in jail in this country you are entitled to telephone calls and visitation rights, neither of which Julian is getting. So that to me is very important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find somewhere to settle in for you. In fact, I might just... There we go. Now we are actually outside of the Ecuadorian embassy. Now you notice they did actually open the window, which I thought was a nice touch, which meant that Julian can hear it.
When it's madness all around, and you can see this at a glance, we will sing and we will cry, we will laugh and we will dance, as they shout their marching orders beneath the helicopter blades. We shall seize the moment for a kiss behind the barricades. They will try to break our spirit, and at times they may succeed, but our love for the world is stronger than their greed. When the building is surrounded and hope begins to fade, in my final hour, a kiss behind the barricades. As the movement grows, there will be hills and bends, but at the center of the struggle are your lovers and your friends. And the more we hold each other up, the less we can be swayed. Here's the love and solidarity, and a kiss behind the barricades.
Thank you. And like I say, the window was opened whilst the music was being played, so I thought that was a nice touch. Whoever opened that window, it does mean that the music's able to waft through. So if he's in there, you can hear it, no doubt about it.
Another song about solidarity. I woke up one morning and looked at the headlines, and most of the headlines didn't have anything about it, but some did, about an incident that took place on the border of Kenya and Somalia on December 21st, 2015, 2 weeks after Trump said Muslims would not be allowed in America. From Nairobi, travel across the country to an arid northern little border town. If you leave early in the day, you'll still be on your way long after the sun is going down. It began as just a ride to the other side, but then was interrupted by the sound of the shattering of glass as the driver tried to pass the men with guns there on the dusty desert ground. There were two already dead, another shot as she fled. No question here whose lives were now at stake. When all is said and done, it is instances like this one when every move is one that just might make or break. All passengers get out, men with guns began to shout, "You Christians now get up against the wall." But then everyone stayed still, saying, "Now do as you will, you may leave, or you may kill us all." It wasn't far away, just over a year ago today, when people were massacred exactly in this manner. The pattern, it was clear. All the Muslims here would be safe if they just stood beside this banner. Headscarves passed from hand to hand among this human band. Live together, or together fall. And then nobody moved, showing each of them approved of saying, "You may leave, This act of solidarity would see the gunmen leave goals left unachieved on the border there in Mandara County. But sometimes you take a chance, then at a second glance you find you change the world with the passing of a shawl. There are those who will remember, those who on one day in December said you may leave, or you may kill us all.
Here.
You may leave, or you may kill us all. You may leave.
I just want to bring your attention to that camera up there. That camera has been pointing at the door for weeks, and now for once it's pointing at what we want it to point to.
On the sidewalk. That's about being on the sidewalk. We'll do a little song about Welsh history here. I think I'd get really bored about hearing songs about transparency, you know, if I were him. Age of industry begun. For the working folk of Wales, life was short. With wages cut again, it was only sensible that then folks took over, shut down the debtors' court. The gentry pulled the wire, told their men to open fire and restore the rule of their estate. But as the night descended, as the battle ended, the soldiers had all fled behind the gate. They chanted cheese and bread, and our children must be fed in the days when Wales rose against the crown. They chanted cheese and bread with a bloody loaf above their heads when the red flag flew in Merthyr Town. East and west to put the gentry to the test. The cavalry was ambushed and turned back. After so long waiting, the time had come now, and the workers were the ones on the attack. They chanted cheese and bread, and our children must be fed in the days when Wales rose against the crown. They chanted cheese and bread with a bloody loaf above their heads when the red flag flew in Merthyr Town. The crowd sent soldiers by the score till order was restored. Then came Dick Van Deren's execution. Another martyr for the cause, meant to give us pause the next time we call for revolution. They chanted cheese and bread, and our children must be fed in the days when Wales rose against the crown. They chanted cheese and bread with a bloody loaf above their heads when the red flag flew in Merthyr Town. If you're all still here, I'll just keep singing until I...
Yeah, keep singing until we throw you off.
Okay. I can do a loud one. Clouds gather in your forests. Drift to my desert town. And I think of far-off places as the rain is coming down. You're bent down in the fields, picking fruit there from the vine, and it ends up on my table as it moves on down changing of the seasons. The birds migrate back and forth. They say that you can't come here. That's the rich people. Those rich people are really fucking annoying.
Really fucking noisy.
Something should be done about those rich people. The moon shines brightly in the night sky. The river flows from south to north. With the changing of the seasons, the birds migrate back and forth. They say that you can't come here, not in the light of day. Somebody has got plans for you. Starve at home or hide away. Will we open up the borders? Tear down the prison walls. Declare that no one is illegal. Watch the giant as it falls. So much travels across these borders. Watch us fall and sail. One way goes the gunships, the other comes the gold. Free trade is like a needle, drawing blood straight from your heart. And the border's like a prison, keeping friends apart. Will we open up the borders? Tear down the prison walls, declare that no one is illegal. Watch the giant as it falls. Smaller. Hear the drowning child crying. Why are the fences growing taller? Some whisper in the shadows, while others count the dollars. Some have suits and ties, others chains and collars. Will we open up the borders? Tear down the prison walls, declare that no one is illegal. Watch the giant as it falls. May the fortress walls come down. May we meet our sisters and our brothers. Stand arm in arm there in the daylight, no longer fighting one another. Will we stand together? For therein lies our might. Will we understand these words? Workers of the world unite. Will we open up the borders? Tear down the prison walls. Declare that no one is illegal. No one is illegal. No one is illegal.
Thank you, David. Julian.
Thank you, Julian. As you can see, quite a gathering. Hope to see more of this. More people showing a bit of solidarity with the man in there. Can't be easy. 60 days, 67 days. There you go, there's a man who supports Julian. 67 days so far. And he literally is suffering some of the worst form of sensory deprivation that I can possibly think of. There you go. It says it all. It says it all, that sign. Well, I think we're going back to some more music. I don't think it's over yet. And I think I'm going to go set up over the other side of the road again. let's get back over. There we go. Have a quick look around. Right, well.
Oh, great. And there's also a WikiLeaks fundraiser album online.
I'll have a look at
Oh, yeah. There's a
Here is largely
WikiLeaks put out an album that I'm on, but it was never a CD.
Anyway, good stuff.
That was.
Syria 2013. I think it's just
There's just so much that's happened since then.
Oh, yeah.
That even the song from Chelsea Manning, but there's so much that's happened since then. It's all on the WikiLeaks album, but the chorus to the song, I'm saying, that now the emperor has no clothes, and it's not true. It didn't start the movement that so the song actually feels dated, and that's true with the Syria song too. There's so much that's happened since 2013. That's why, I would have done it if I remembered it, but that's why it's...
check the Syria one again. I disagree with you in terms of that
it's
being
still
out of
current.
and also, I love the all that one. What the final one about free trade. That's a great one as well.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
I should do that more. The trade
I've
part.
got to say that I find some of the small ones to be compulsive. When you go more Celtic, deal with the Celtic approach, but all the time
Oh, that's interesting.
trigger.
That's a tough one. Since I'm...
But I'm not suggesting you desist those grounds.
Would you like some water?
Oh, sure. If there is any water.
Just like to say thank you for that on behalf of all the people that were watching and all the
Yeah.
people
Oh,
that
great.
are gonna watch it.
Oh,
so
great.
I think that was absolutely stunning.
Where did you live stream?
Straight onto
Thank
Twitter, straight onto Facebook, and hopefully.
So I'll be able to find it through
You will.
on Twitter, Free Assange or something?
if you look up what's my
You'll be
Joe
a lot
Public
of
says
it
no,
in tweets
yeah.
and different people.
Yeah.
Greek Emmy, Karen.
There's a lot of good filming going on. It looked like people were maybe working together to compile things.
to
later.
cover a lot. Yeah, if you want to take any of the footage that you find on mine, it's, Joe Public says no is my Twitter handle.
Oh, great. Joe
Um,
says no.
Yeah,
Your Twitter.
and you can take that and rip it. And that goes with anyone out there. Obviously, if you want the footage and you're going to use the footage for productive purposes, you're more than welcome to rip it, edit it, put it together, and throw it out there as your own. And that includes you, Susie. You can have it as well if you want it.
Excellent. I think I'm not sure what Kara's doing. But on the 19th, Emmy says she'll be here from 11 o'clock. Thank you. And what were your names?
Oh, thank you.
Katie. Thank you, Katie.
Next week is the 19th, and it will be here again, right where we stood opposite the Ecuadorian embassy.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen, for
I
being
hear
here.
that people are going to be sort of like arriving from 11 o'clock onwards. I mean, there are a hardcore of supporters that try to come down every week, at least 2 or 3 times a week, just to show a bit of a visual outside for Junian. This time, obviously, he's been able to hear it. As I say, I'm really impressed that just as the music, started over this side of the road, the embassy opened a window to allow the music to waft through. And so next week, the 19th, let's see, Monday's the 11th, so that'll be a week Tuesday. Is it a week Tuesday? Sounds like a week Tuesday to me. So if you can make it to London, and you want to come down, 11 o'clock people will start coming together. But I am under the impression that the keynote speakers and the activities won't be starting till about 4 or 5. which I think is a reasonable time because it gives you time to get down here if you've got the evening spare. And hopefully now we've had so many people all together, I'm hoping they don't all just drift off, and maybe they all get together around a table and come up with a nice plan of action for a sustained effort to bring awareness to Julian's incarceration. Starts where? I missed those questions. I was too busy looking across the road. If you're on about next or the week after next, the 19th, we'll be here in Hands Crescent, Brompton Road exit of Knightsbridge Station, and you literally can't miss it. Come out of the Brompton Road exit of Knightsbridge Station, walk 100 yards and you're literally outside the embassy. Brompton Road Station's just down there. Brompton Road exit of Knightsbridge Station's just down there. 11 o'clock, people, or the dedicated supporters of Assange will start arriving. So that's not next Tuesday. I think it's the Tuesday after, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll be here again on Monday because I've got my own suspicions that this isn't all over yet. I think there's something going to be happening on Monday in America that may have a bearing on Ecuador and the embassy. I don't know. I am guessing. It's all speculation. But so far as I can tell, there does seem to be an awful lot of activity around the QAnon stuff and the Assange stuff, and there does seem to be something rather ominous about the date, the 11th of June. So that I'm going to be here for that on Monday as well. I'll probably be sat here on my Todd, but I will live stream if any breaking news comes on that day. But yeah, as you can see, it looks like people are drifting slowly. So I'm probably going to call this stream to an end and go and see if I can have a chat with a few people, see if we can't formulate a decent plan. So from me to you, I hope you've enjoyed the stream, and remember, if you can spare me the price of a cup of coffee, details of how to do that are on my Facebook wall under the intro section, just an account number and details and my name. If you can spare us the price of a cup of coffee, you know, London travel is expensive, and even the coffees are ridiculously expensive. Hold on. Yeah, it would be really cool if people could make it here. I would, I will be here, and as I say, we'll have a coffee and a chat. And if anyone would like to come down and articulate on the subject of Julian or QAnon, I'd be very interested in live streaming your thoughts, and I'd be very interested in getting some other perspectives on what people think is actually happening here. So yeah, I'm going to sign it off for now. I might stream again in a little while if it's up somewhere interesting, but I've now got to avoid rush hour, so I'm going to be stuck in and around Knightsbridge for another hour or so. But I look forward to broadcasting for you all again. Take care. Yes, Joe Public Says No is my Twitter sign, and Average Joe Public is my Facebook. I've tweeted this. I'm just trying to figure out how to turn it off now. Always interesting, but hopefully this will stream, and hopefully we'll be seeing you on Monday and on the following week on Tuesday. Awesome, and thank you all.